Yeah, remember this. The real menace to society ain't the boys in the hood. It's the fools in the hood.
Excuse me, man. I'm doing a documentary.
Oh, you scared.
I'm sorry. You were in the meat section. I just couldn't help but to notice. But I'm doing a documentary. You mind if I ask you like 3 quick questions? So do you, obviously you consume pork. Do you,
That's beef.
oh, okay, my bad. Do you eat pork?
Yes.
Okay. Are you comfortable eating pork? Have you always eaten pork?
Yes.
What if I told you, and this is a
And
fact.
I know what you're going to tell me.
What am I going to tell you?
About the vein and all that
Well,
stuff.
no, I'm going to tell you something worse. There's a worm.
Bird, oh yeah.
But you eat it.
Yeah, I grew up on it. I'm 61 years old now.
Are you going to keep eating it?
I probably will.
Do you eat?
Not as much. I really only eat the ribs and I used to eat the ham, but I don't eat that.
So you're cutting back now?
I have cut back tremendously.
Oh, yeah? Last question. Do you eat chitlins?
Once a year at Thanksgiving.
Why do you eat them on that day? Is that a special day?
Yeah, special day, Thanksgiving, that I'm through with them.
Now you know that's guts, right? No, it's intestines.
I know.
And they smell horrible.
They smell horrible, but they taste good.
And
Like I'm from the old school, so.
But you can change. You don't think you can change?
Yeah, I can change. Like I said, I eat the chilies once a year. I eat the ribs once a year. And I used to eat ham, but I stopped eating ham.
Now, how do you keep up with all of this? You know,
Because I do it once a year.
But you do all of that on one day?
No.
Ribs, chitlins.
Ribs on 4th of July, and the chitlins on Thanksgiving. That's it.
So, Melik, why isn't the health issue a big deal for black people?
Well, I mean, because we're sick. Just being honest with you, before you can really even talk about, wellness and health and massage therapy and yoga with black people, you have to accept the fact that the reality is we view sickness as normal. Many of us actually even grew up with someone who was literally dying around us, always moaning, always limping, always aching. We grew up like that. So, I asked the question, like, where is our Jane Fonda? We don't have a health culture. Where is our Jane Fonda, our picture of health amongst our people? We like Michael Jordan because he can hang in the air for 10 minutes. But we don't care if he eats a salad or if he, drinks soy milk or anything. We just like his shoes. So we view sickness as normalcy.
I understand what you're saying, but our leaders, the very people who are supposed to represent us, don't take it on board. They deal with other things such as politics, but not health. Why is this?
Well, there's a conflict of interest. That's what holds them at bay, because the reality is most of our leaders today are actually getting grants or are being funded by some of the very institutions that they would find themselves speaking out against. So therefore they're in a quandary over that. And then the other thing is they really can't get all up in our personal lives like that, because if they wanted to get all inside of the personal lives to affect real change, the people were required of them to know about their personal lives. For instance, if someone took a position, or leadership took a position as to what you should eat and what you shouldn't eat, the best way for them to take that position is by abstaining from eating a certain thing themselves. So when you look at the last 30-something years, there's a certain type of personal, discipline / integrity that's been absent amongst our leaders. And this is why they've not been able to affect any real change in the lives of the people.
Okay, well, it's not all bad. Historically, we have achieved a lot. Today, the world is still baffled by the pyramids. Remember the pyramids? We actually built them.
Well, let me ask you a question. Prove it. Prove it. How can you prove we built the pyramids? I mean, think about it, for real. Do we look like the kind of people who want to choose organic over non-organic, or fruit with seeds in it as opposed to seedless? The reality is, Mandisa, the man who built the pyramids won't even paint his house. The man who walked on water won't even drink water. And furthermore, the mother of civilization is on birth control. The reality is that, let me give you a history lesson real quick. You've heard of
Go ahead.
the Crusader Wars and you ever heard of the Holy Grail? Well, you're there in London. In the London Museum, most of the relics and holy writings that were in Northeast Africa were taken from that particular area and stored in those areas, as well as the Louvre Museum, as well as the Vatican Museum. But the thing was, in giving you the history lesson, the Holy Grail. The Holy Grail was supposedly a particular cup that was used to catch the blood of Jesus 2,000 something years ago. And it was promised that if anyone could find that and drink from that, they would have everlasting life. Now my point in saying that is this. The reason for all of those invasions into those holy areas was they were looking for something. But the question is, what were they looking for? They wasn't looking for the pyramids per se. They were looking for the lifestyle of the people who could build the pyramids. Why? Because they knew it was within our genetics, within our life bloodline, that we were going to live forever. They knew everlasting life was something that was real for us. So after they took those things and studied them and probed and so on, they came back to Africa and they took you and I. When they brought you to the West, they brought you there to you guys in Europe, they were still watching us. They watched us throughout slavery, but they could never figure it out because the fact of the matter is, we had even forgotten that we once lived forever. So that's where we find ourselves. So when you look at the brothers, the homeboys on the block, you know, we should take another position. We should take another position because the missing thing was the lifestyle that would allow you to live forever. Not a lifestyle that would make you die, which was what we are clinging to today. I always tell people, you know, instead of getting fighting mad, get fasting mad. What would happen to McDevils and Krusty Kreme donuts and Lurch's chicken if we stopped eating there? Then they would feel us. You know how the brothers in the streets say, "Can you feel me?" Well, if we stopped eating at those places, trust me, they would feel us.
Okay, so what do you eat? Are you a vegetarian?
Well, actually, I'm a vegan. I don't eat anything that had parents or that has eyes, you know, because I have friends and friends will ask me, "But don't you miss eating a big juicy steak?" Well, let me tell you this. Everyone who's listening, let's just be very, very clear. There's no juice in a steak. Only fruits and vegetables produce juice. And do you want me to tell you what's in a steak? I hope you.
I don't know if I want to hear it.
Now you need to hear that. You see,
Okay.
What's in a steak is blood, sweat, and pus. I really want to say that again. Can I say it again?
Okay, go ahead.
It's blood, sweat, and pus. It's like when you have a pimple on your face. That's not face juice. If you pop it and that white stuff that scoots out and the blood, that's a pimple. That's blood, sweat, and pus. It's not face juice. So, you know, that's where we find ourselves. And it's just a matter of education. And we have to gravitate to this thing called a health culture. It's a movement. Say again?
Hello.
Oh, how are you?
All right.
All right. Listen, I wanted to ask you something. I'm doing a documentary on businesses in the West End and the black communities. And I was just curious, are you the owner? One of the owners? Yeah.
The business owner.
Okay, my name's Melik.
Yeah, Kim.
All right, Kim. And where are you from?
Korea.
How long have you been in the business?
Here,
Yes.
17 years.
Okay. What made you go into this business with the hair, selling the hair and stuff like that?
What?
You sell hair and beauty products, right?
Yeah.
And you're in the black community. What made you interested in going into the business?
I don't know what you mean.
What made you interested?
Major interest?
No, why? What was your motivation? Why'd you do it? Is it a good business?
This is this is business. You know the business.
Is it a good business?
Okay, about 10 years, this the good business, but now is no good.
What is not good?
Many competitor.
Competitors.
competitor.
Competition?
Competitor.
I don't know what that
Many
is.
store.
You have a lot of stores?
No. Many other store.
Sell.
Okay. First time I started this business 17 years ago. There's only 1 or 2 store nearby here, but now 10 store more. You understand?
I understand.
But population is almost the same, not much increase.
You have
Same.
one store?
Yeah, same population, but the store is the many stores increased.
Is this your first business?
Yeah.
Why did you decide the black community?
There's the no intention.
No intention.
No intention, but there's the follow to the brother or my father. You understand?
They own business in black community also?
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
First time, but now retired.
Oh, but when your brother
Yeah.
and your father, they owned,
Yeah.
what kind of business did they have?
Same.
Hair stuff.
Yeah.
And you have human hair?
Yeah. But I follow my family.
Long tradition.
But no intention. But only there's no choice. You see?
No. No,
But
no
you
choice.
cannot understand.
Oh, because you are following your brother and your
Yeah.
father. Okay.
That's the reason why.
Do you think the store would do good in the white community? Do
Well-
white people buy this?
That's the different.
They different.
I heard that that's the much different.
What is the difference?
Oh, different material.
Oh, they don't buy red hair and purple and
No,
yellow.
the hair is the almost same, but the chemical is some different.
So it's better in the black community.
Well, I cannot understand what your intention and you are asking.
No, I just want to know. Will this store, if you were in the white community, you would sell different chemical?
Okay, you have your name card or something?
Yes, my name is
Yeah.
Melik. It's
No. The card.
How much is this?
99 cents.
Did he just say 99 cents? I know he didn't just say 99 cents.
Chagres is our Foods in the Hood,
Yes, sir.
concerning how we lost our communities to the poor choices and qualities of health in our neighborhood. Can you give us a chronological breakdown of what the transformation of our neighborhoods to hoods became and poor food choices?
Well, one of the things that we got to understand is neighborhood. Inside the word neighbor is family, and inside the word hood is a covering, a protection. So when we had a neighborhood, we were all family within the community. Everybody was an adult, got respect. You could sleep at any of your friends' houses. You could eat at any of your friends' homes. So we were family. And when it just became the hood, and there was no more neighborly relationships, that meant that only those who had formed these little pockets was hiding undercover to denigrate not only the community, but violate all of the things that made us a community. And when you look at the word community, it means common unity. We had a common unity. No strangers could come within the community, and nobody would identify who he was. So there was very little stealing, robbing, breaking in, because everybody was covering each other's back. And so when you begin to look at the health of the community psychologically, that's what went first, our thinking. So when I no longer saw my next door neighbor as myself, that meant that I was only looking out for me, and he was only looking out for him. So if you have nobody covering your back, it's easy to get stabbed in the back, which is what the OJ said, backstabbers.
Absolutely. How did the foreigners that we have in the communities today, what makes us so attractive that they can come into the community and earn a living and we can't sustain ourselves?
Well, you got to understand opportunity. Nature abhors a vacuum. So when people come to America, they look for opportunities in which they can sustain themselves and provide for themselves. Well, those who came and scouted out America as to where you could get a start with a people who spend everything, you got to remember, the African American, it said, spends $1 trillion a year. So who wouldn't come to that market? You can sell them anything and they buy it. Who would have believed that black America would buy oversized t-shirts and wear them as clothing? Who would have believed that black men in the 70s would wear high-heeled shoes and call that fashion? So when you begin to see that the Korean and the Asian or the Arab who did business, all he needed to do was to bring a product to the black community. And he knew that there was gold in the ghetto. And so he came because there was no black-owned grocery stores. You take Chicago. Chicago has one owned black grocery store for over 1 million black people. Now that don't even sound impossible. So the people got to eat every day. So the Arab and the Korean came and opened up the store. They don't have any clothing stores but a handful. So the Korean came with this cheap stuff from Korea and China, and everybody wanted to wear jumpsuits and jogging suits and t-shirts. He brought that junk in. He paid people working over there work for 50 cents a day. He brought it over here. He paid $1 for it and sell it for $100, $75. They make gym shoes in China. They make the knockoffs, so you think you buying Jordans and this and that. And he done brought them over here, and he made a ton of you because you brand name conscious. So it wasn't anything, it wasn't rocket science. It was gold in the ghetto, and they came and got the gold.
Elaborate on the concept I've heard you espouse before called nutritional genocide, with how it came to be, what it is, and what you intend on doing.
Slavery required an outside force, and genocide requires an outside stimulus to make it happen. So rather than let world opinion attack you anymore as it relates to white people is doing something to black people, they looked at the behavior and the habits of black people, and like Pavlov's dogs, you remember with that, condition respond? They knew that if they developed a mindset, black people would automatically do it. So black people argue that they want to eat pigtails and pig feet. No matter what the statistics say about their health, they don't even pay any attention to that. And so they conspire in their own assassination, which is what we coined nutritional genocide. You force a man to do what you know is not in his best interest by making him think that he's free and this is his own personal choice. So he makes a decision to eat 2 Big Macs a day and drink beer every day and smoke cigarettes every day. He ain't really convinced that that's hurting him because his minister told him everybody got to die. And you got to die from something. So he decided to die from smoking cigarettes, drinking whiskey, eating bad food. That was his choice of weapon. Nobody is telling black men they can live. Black men lead in 8 of the top 10 cancers. And nobody asks, well, how did that happen? Because black men don't think apples and oranges and grapes and grapefruits are food. So they never eat those things. I'm a steak and potato man. You understand? I eat some fish. So nobody's telling them nutrition is connected with their well-being. So nutritional genocide is just like the Willie Lynch. It was a well thought out plan of divide, conquer, and assassinate. So they don't have to sell you blankets with smallpox on it anymore. They just open up what's the
Krusty Cream donut.
Right. So they just open that up and you go in there and buy a bag of them, and then next door to that is the 15-cent hamburger, you buy another bag of that, and then next door to that is the liquor store and you buy your 40 ounce. And they got you. That's why the Klan ran an ad in Chicago say, the best weapon for us is black gangs. Y'all killed more than the Klan ever did. So we applaud y'all. So they send games, $10 and $20 donations. Y'all keep on going, brothers. Y'all doing a great job for us. They send them $20 a month apiece.
Prince Asiel, as International Ambassador of the African Hebrew Israelites at Jerusalem, what is the significance of black people living outside of America not eating meat as it relates to our health situation?
Well, let's not concentrate about meat or living outside of America. I want them to be conscious in America that the consumption of a dead animal is not the optimum food for health. That's the first thing we start on. That something dead cannot keep you alive. So if you start off on that premise, then you'll understand why a plant-based diet, which is alive when you eat it, a live carrot, a live pea, a live tomato, you wouldn't dare think of eating rotten vegetables. But everybody eat rotten meat every day. But if I brought them a rotten tomato, they would think I'm crazy. But they go to the grocery store and have the pink dye or the red dye put on the meat to give the impression that it was just killed yesterday. They stupid. You understand? So that's the reality of it, Millie.
Oh man, I don't mean to interrupt you. I had a question. I'm just wondering what you got.
Yeah.
How did they get the little chicken to be so small? You see the bones real small?
Yeah, I know, man.
You ever thought about that? So them can't be no big old chickens. Right?
Nah, they little babies probably,
They
man.
little bitty.
They might be little babies or something. I don't know, man.
So you eat little baby chickens, man.
Yep.
And you alright about that?
Hey, man.
You ain't never thought about that, huh?
No doubt about it. I knew that's kind of little, though.
Yeah, they ain't little anything.
They killing baby chicken.
That was
Damn, man, that's messed up, yo. Yeah, I didn't want to think about it like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I ain't think about that either, man. Until I actually looked over here. I said, wait a minute, them chickens too little like that.
Hey, bro.
They got a little, what is that, a wing on them?
Supposed to be a wing, yeah.
Them some little bitty
Little
chickens.
wing.
Then you go up there to churches, man, and them chickens.
They're like this.
Alright, man.
I know what you're saying, man.
The Minister Society has never been the boys in the hood, but it's the foods in the hood, what we digest, what we drink, including drugs. How can a 9-year-old child find a Harris man, but the FBI can't find him? Something's wrong with that.
Absolutely. Well, Brother Gregory, you've been on this path for a long time, preaching health and living it. What is the problem with black leadership? It's almost as though they're not even...
Wait, let's back up. How can black leadership preach health when they don't know it themselves? Well, they like black leadership understand health and know what to eat. Black leadership don't slip out to the mountaintop and get organic food. They eat the same food that black poor folks is eating in the ghetto. So why would they when they don't know it themselves? They got just as many pills in their cabinet. They go see just as many doctors. They might get a better quality of doctors. They got the same medicine. So it ain't like they know health. And if you look in the white community, the people that's talking health is not the ones that's selling automobiles or talking about this or talking about that. That's a different movement altogether. And so they're good at what they're good at. But would I want to buy a car from a guy just because he's NAACP or the Urban League? Not at all. If I had a case of police brutality, I wouldn't go to the health food store. I would go to the people. Now, you can't separate a racist society that's prejudiced and segregated and treat blacks wrong. It also reflects in your food, in your water, and in your quality of air. The question that we've never asked is, if white companies are the only ones that make malt liquor, but malt liquor is only sold in black neighborhoods, it looked like somebody would have enough sense to say, oh, wait a minute. What's in this malt liquor? There's a thing in there called manganese, and if you get too much manganese, it'll make you kill your mama. That's part of the relationship of violence. Lead makes you hostile. Lead poison, hostile, aggressive. Mercury now in federal court in Dallas. Soda pop have a date on it, an expiration date. And when it gets past that date, the soda pop, the chemicals turn into a mild poison. Now, I don't believe the mild poison will kill you, but it turns into a mild poison.
Right, poison nonetheless.
Yeah. Now, what they found out that some black folks and white folks that was working on it for Coca-Cola, they found out that Coca-Cola would take all of those expired Cokes out of the white stores, redate them in a warehouse in northern Dallas and send it to the black stores. Well, they told on it, and they got a lawsuit now. Now, is Coca-Cola the most trifling of the Fortune 500? I don't believe that. So, are the pharmaceuticals doing the same thing? Or when that medicine is like outdated, do they take it out of the white pharmacies and send it to the black pharmacies? And if you was my doctor and I've been taking my high blood pressure medicine for 2 years, and then for 2 weeks, and I go back and my blood pressure has gone up, it's only natural that you think as a doctor I'm not taking the medicine. And when I tell you I am, now what you're going to do is give me a stronger one. And so you got all of that going. That happens in a white racist society. Can you imagine the Jews going to pharmacists in a Nazi-controlled Germany and assume that somebody's going to be honest with them? Not at all.
So let me ask you this. You know, it used to be a time when the church was a bedrock for our spiritual health. What is the problem with the church making the connection, or do you feel that connection?
Wait, hold. You keep asking questions like you just said. How many fat preachers do you know? Okay? How many?
All of them are fat.
Okay, so why you gonna bring that? Look, if I came to your office and you was a doctor and your plants was dead, I'm gonna hurry up and get out of there.
Right.
Okay? And so what I'm saying is, you asking questions like you came here from another planet. What that church, I tell you what, the latest survey that the black folks in the ghetto that go to church have 8% less crime in their family. 75% less drugs. So they good at what they do. But have you ever go to a funeral where a sister or brother died from high blood pressure, sugar diabetes, and cancer, and after the burial, go back to the church to eat? Give me a break.
Mm.
And so, you can't go to people who's not aware. Look, I came through thinking good nutrition was whatever you liked, it was enough of it. And bad nutrition is when it ran out before you got enough. Man, I'm born in 1932 when black folks would die, they had no money, and they would just say, Grandpa, we tried to get his barbecue formula, but he carried that to the grave. The barbecue formula, the way he cooked pig feet, the way he cooked cornbread. And so, and then also you must remember, when you go to the store, you get what you pay for. I said this to somebody the other day. I was traveling somewhere to do a speech. I was going in to get some bottled water. And the only thing was open said food for less. You ever see those stores?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I said, people, it's so crazy. We would never go and buy cheap gas for our car, okay? We would never go where it says cars for less. We would suspect that something might be wrong with it, right?
Right.
And so, but as long as it's about food, and then when you have poor black folks, we look for instant gratification. That's all poor people. Black men smoke half as many cigarettes as white men, but the cancer death rate from smoking cigarettes is twice as high in the black community. Black people are 12% of America's population. 87% of everybody that should be on kidney dialysis machines is African Americans.
So being sick is normal for us.
Yeah, but look what they tell us. They say, well, the reason is I got to go to the same system that don't like me to find out what's wrong with me. Something wrong with that, right?
Absolutely.
And they tell me, what's wrong is black men don't go to the doctor to get examined, so it's so late. I said, okay, wait a minute, back up. do they go get examined in Africa? Where's that? Prostate cancer ain't running rampant in Africa. Black men is 4% of America's population. 83% of prostate cancer death in America is black men. Why isn't that reflected in Africa if it's a black thing? Are you telling me white, hillbilly, grade school, dropouts, can't read, can't write, living in a trailer, are you telling me they go get examined?
Not at all.
And so when you stop and think about black women, 6% of America's population, 98% of fibroid tumors, black women. And nobody said, wait a minute, hold it. Wait, stop. But remember, this ain't nothing new. When Elijah Muhammad, I was one of the ones that was laughing. Say, no white women, no pork. I was laughing. Give me a break. And now we go through the black community, and we see Muslims with no bumps on their face. 120 degrees in the summertime, they got on a suit with a bow tie, don't sweat. And we haven't slowed up to say, hey, wait a minute, what are you all doing? How can, you didn't leave the community, how come you don't need bigger, or nicotine, or cigarettes? What is this about? And so when you stop and think, when you rallied behind food because it was the only thing you had, that nobody could tell you how to cook it. And it's hard to break that chain when people rallied behind it. You never heard nobody when I was going to say, can't nobody read like Mildred. Can't nobody cook barbecue or fried chicken like Nellie. And then you start breaking that chain. I see it's been broken now because every time I go into Whole Foods, you see more and more African Americans. That's there. You see more and more African Americans just buying bottled water. And so, but it takes a long time to turn that train around. But it's working. I mean, if you go into health food stores in the black community in Atlanta, they're not going out of business. They got people coming in around the clock. And if you stayed open, they'd be coming in at night. So there's little by little, people are beginning to find out that it might be, and I might have to pay a little bit more. Well, that's hard to do. When you got a choice between heating your house and eating or cooling and eating, and you're going to pay 40 to 60% above markup to get food that's organically grown, but you get what you pay for. They got organic. 1/4 of all the pesticides in America is used on the cotton crop. So all at once now, you got people buying organic pillars that's made out of organic cotton, organic sheets, organic socks. Cotton shirts with all that poison in it. So all at once now hemp cannot be used in America, grown in America, because there's a piece of it you can use for drugs. But one of the biggest imports in this country out of Canada is hemp, where they're making hemp clothing and what have you. So, the thing is changing, but everybody at the bottom of the totem pole is going to get less of whatever the good thing is. The cars, I remember when I was a little boy, 99% of black folk couldn't afford no new car. So they get an old raggedy car and the tires. I mean, how many black folks in the ghetto know about rotating your tires? Getting rid of them after they ride in the car until the tire go down and they don't have a spare. So then they got to go buy a used tire. So this is once you put in your head that you are poor and you are convinced by a system that you are poor, and thank God you're doing better than so-and-so, then they got you. They got you. Yep.
In every aspect, what you think, what you buy, and of course what you eat.
Yes.
Well, in closing, Mr. Gregory, tell us what you've been doing, lately in this field of fighting nutritional genocide in the community for the last 3-4 minutes.
Well, all I do is tell people, look, here's what you have to do. The 3 causes of death in America. The number 1 cause is sleep deprivation. Get what you eat. That's the number 1 cause of death. The number 2 cause is dehydration. And the number 3 cause is lack of physical fitness. You know how many people that eat right, that don't have time to do exercise? They got 2 jobs. And so consequently, when I go in and talk, I say, first, we got to look at stress. Stress is dangerous because you can't see it, you can't smell it, you can't taste it until it's too late. Well, What causes stress? Anger, fear, working on a job where you dislike the people because you see what they're doing because you black and they're white, and you bring that mess home. And so consequently, when you look at your liver and your kidneys, when you hold all that stress in the liver and the kidneys blow out. When you laugh, you use certain muscles that push against certain glands that cause them to secrete an oil that wipes out negative stuff. That's why they say laughter is good medicine. When you angry and frown and bitter, you use certain muscles that push against certain glands that drops a gas in your body. That's poison. And so you got to go through the whole bit. You know, it's kind of interesting. Stanford University, one of the leading universities in the world, they have a department of forgiveness. So, you know, that's what King and the movement was talking about. Forgive, forgive, forgive. And when you don't forgive, you hold things. Remember, the same God that invented the Germans invented the Jews. The same God that invented the Klan invented the blacks. The same God invented the slave master invented the slave. So how you going to like one and dislike another without violating God? And so as we can throw this out and get up and walk and get the proper rest and drink the proper amount of water. The body is 90-some% water. Not Kool-Aid, lemonade, but I get instant gratification from drinking something sweet or eating something sweet or eating something spicy. And then, so all you got to do is put it out there. I smoke 4 packs of cigarettes a day, a fifth of scotch every day. My top weight was 365 pounds. And then all at once, when they told me cigarettes cause cancer, I stopped. Now, there's a whole lot of people stop if they can get the facts from people they believe. There's a whole lot of people that can't. Well, just thank God I came through, I guess, through my mother and my wife. I never needed a drug, so I'm born in 1932. I went as high as you can go in show business, $25,000 a week back then. Never smoked a reefer in my life. Well, as much alcohol I was drinking, wasn't no room for nothing else. And so now when you stop and think about who would ever believe that this thing would get so wild, a white teenager living in rural America is 83 times more likely to use crack than a black living in a large urban city.
Right.
Do you think the New York Times is going to tell you that?
Not at all.
You think the Atlanta Constitution will tell you that? So it looked like I'm doing all the bad stuff and they're doing all the good stuff. And so consequently, once we start getting the proper rest and the proper sleep and the proper exercise, even what we're doing negative, it starts throwing the impurities off, and there's so much information out here now. And then another thing is the same food that I ate when I was a little boy didn't have hormones in it. Not at all. You got a lot of people now talk about free-range chicken. You got Colonel Sanders Kentucky Fried Chicken. They can't use the word chicken no more. They call it KFC because these chickens that they raise, what they call Frankenstein chickens, they don't move, they grow them, they're genetically engineered where they don't have no feet or no beak, anything they can't sell, or no skin. And so consequently, we're not aware of that. And people that is aware, they're still going to get it for their children. How does that affect my glands?
Right.
If I would have started smoking when I was a child, it's far more detriment than if I started smoking when I'm an adult, or alcohol, because my glands are developing, my organs are developing. And so I think it's beginning to turn around some. My biggest problem is going into grade schools and have to talk to young children. I don't even step. How am I going to tell you as a 6-year-old that what your mother is doing is killing you? Right. I'm not about to do that. I'm going to tell you sugar is bad. White refined flour is bad. White rice is bad. Well, not me. Because how you going to convince somebody black that biscuits is something wrong with biscuits? Instant grits, instant oatmeal, all the instant stuff makes the nutrition is gone. So that's where we are.
That's
Give me
funny.
a pack of Newport Short. It's separate though.
Okay, I got the 355 for it, okay?
And you know cigarettes are bad for you, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Well, why you keep smoking them?
I don't know.
Huh?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Here you go, baby.
Every time I smoke one. I said, I need to stop smoking.
Money's back.
Keep that. Do you know someone you love that you lost due to cancer?
Mm-hmm.
But you keep smoking.
Thank you so much, baby.
It's not good.
I'm going to stop.
Do you know that you misspelled the word convenience outside?
I don't know, baby. That's long. I don't know. The guy did the sign.
The guy did the sign?
Uh-huh.
You got some matches back?
Yes, sir.
You got some matches?
Long as we know. Thank you. What kind of
Thank you.
help, sir?
Well, I just want to let you know that because it's misspelled.
Sir, the guy do the sign. I gotta call him and let him know. But I thank you.
Did you know it though?
I
You didn't know it? Okay.
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm doing a documentary on shopping habits in African American community. I wanted to ask you some quick questions.
Hey, what is it?
I wanted to know, I see you in the meat section here, so the other white meat you eat, how do you feel about consuming pork?
It don't bother me, so I eat it.
Are you aware that it has a worm in it called trichina worm?
Okay. No.
You didn't know that?
No.
Yeah, there's a parasitic worm that lives inside of pork.
Okay.
It's impossible to cook to remove it.
All right.
Would that slow you down on eating it that you know that?
No.
Do you have any loved ones who died because of eating pork?
I don't think so.
No?
No.
So when you say it doesn't bother you, what do you mean it doesn't bother you?
Because I cook it well and I clean it. It's just like chicken. It has bacteria too. People eat that. Okay.
So let me ask you this. Right now, the fattest person in America is the African American woman. And here you are, you're writing this cookbook. So tell me a little bit about yourself and the significance of this cookbook.
My name is Jafar Asiel, and I have been the driving force as it relates to nutrition for Soul Vegetarian Restaurant for the last 20 some odd years. And I have watched the transition of African American women go from just basically being somewhat healthy, where our grandmothers used to feed us from their gardens, be in the kitchen cooking, knowing exactly what they felt us, to today's woman who has the worst health issues on the planet. I've watched African American women be obese. I've watched them have problems with diabetes, hypertension. I teach a lot in the community, and the women that I come across, some of them take up to 20 pills a day, just trying to maintain a similitude of health. And so I wrote the book, and
What's the name of your book?
the name of the book is this new Soul Vegetarian Cookbook, and this is our second edition from the first cookbook, where we have upgraded the recipes. We have made the recipes a little more healthier, because our first cookbook came out about 15 years ago. And so we took out all of the trans fatty fats, and we've used olive oil, we used non-hydrogenated margarine, we've gone to maple syrup and agave and stevia, which are cactus sweeteners, or sweeteners made from a cactus plant.
You said 15 years, and Soul Vegetarian's been in the game a long time.
Soul Vegetarian is the largest chain of vegan restaurants in the world. We have a total of 14 restaurants worldwide, and we have been vegans and on the path to veganism since 1969. We've done extensive research, we've done extensive experiments. Through trial and error, we have found that you do not have to eat a meat or animal-based diet to live. We have 3 generations of vegans in our midst who are very healthy, have vitality, energy, still run, play sports, and we found that you don't have to just eat meat to survive or to live.
Let me ask you something. Somebody listening to you, you know, the average person will say it costs too much to be a vegetarian, to eat healthy. So they want to eat some greens and with some this and that in it, all kind of body parts. And being real with you, if it's not going to taste good, our people are not going to make the transformation. What do you have to say about that?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question because I get that question a lot about
I bet you do when you talk to us.
it costs more. But you know what? And usually my answer would be that you pay now or you'll pay later as it relates to your health or buying more drugs. And I would usually respond, I would tell people or teach people how to work collectively with your neighbors, your friends, your family, to go in and buy cases of fruits and
like
vegetables like a co-op and divide it amongst yourselves because you really need a support system. And I thought about that answer, and all of those things are good. But you know what? Black America spends over $100 billion a year. And so I say, stop going to the hairdressers and use that money and go to the supermarket and feed yourself and feed your children. Maybe stop buying those high-heel shoes or those designer garments and save that money and go to the grocery store and pay for a better quality of food, just like you want to pay for a better quality of clothes or a better quality car. Then we need to stop now and take a serious look at our health and our diet. So we have money. Money is not the issue. It's not the issue.
It would appear that before you can talk to our people about health, you have to deal with the fact that we view sick as normal.
Right, exactly. Sick, dying, and death as a part of a normal process of life, which now is starting to begin at age 30, when you start, people you see now in the neighborhood, you hear people having heart attacks and diseases and diabetes and at 30, 40 years old, and are waiting just to kind of live their life out until praying that they'll get to 50. And it's just not the proper lifestyle, and it's not the proper mindset that we need to have when we deal with our health, because your age is determined by how you are able to perform, how you feel, how much vitality you have, and it doesn't stop at 60 or 70.
So let me ask you, does the book break down, because I firmly believe that black people don't interpret or gather information like white people. So is this one of those white people cookbooks that we gonna read and number one, we ain't gonna wanna make it, and then number two, we can't make it because we can't pronounce the words or we can't find those particular products?
This book is very, very simple. The language is simple, the recipes are simple, the ingredients that we use, you can go to a local supermarket and purchase it if you went in the health food section or the natural section in a grocery store. The other section in the grocery store, I don't know what the name of that is, but if you go to the health section or natural section of the grocery store, you can find all of the ingredients. They are cost effective. Some of the ingredients we use, for instance, are beans and rice, which is protein that you can get at a health food store or a grocery store, inexpensive. The recipes are written in simple terms, really, really easy to follow. It's just people have to stop being intimidated and already define for themselves what they think vegetarian food is. A lot of people still think that just because you're a vegetarian, all you eat is carrots and lettuce and tomatoes. And that's not true. We eat so many different varieties of foods. And again, we've been in this business for the last 30, 40 years. So we have put these combinations together with beans and rice and legumes. And now even when you go to the doctor will tell you You have to put more fruits and vegetables in your diet. You have to exercise. You have to drink more water if you want to be healthy. So we have taken the lead in experimenting with all of these ingredients, all of these dishes, where now our people don't have to do that part. All they have to do is have a desire to change, and we can help them with the rest.
So we've been eating traditionally comfort foods high in sugar, the fats, and the cheese. Do you have anything on there that what do you do when we want to eat cheese? You got a cheese alternative, a butter alternative?
We do. We have soy cheese that's in the recipe book. We have a soy butter like mayonnaise. Most of our people are lactose intolerant and cannot tolerate dairy products, but we do. The body will adjust, but it will only adjust for so long, and then you start feeling the different effects of eating the dairy products. We have those types of recipes in the book, and we have recipes that you use the soy butter and the soy cheese in. I teach people that you have to look at your tongue, look at your palate, because most of our people are addicted to 3 things. And when I ask them what it is, they already know. Sugar, salt, and fat. Gotta have some fried chicken, gotta cook with salt, and then bring it to the table and put salt on the food after you cooked it with salt, and gotta have some Coke, gotta have some donuts, gotta have some candy. Can't go a day without sugar. So those addictions are on the tongue, the palate. People aren't eating food. You don't eat raw meat. You season the meat. So you're eating seasonings, and the seasonings are usually sugar, salt, and some kind of fat. So we have the different recipes in the book that you can make that transition. And this is what I basically teach, a transition to help people, because it took a lot. It took a whole lot of years, a whole lot of miseducation, a whole lot of traditional recipes passed down from our mothers, our grandmothers, the way that they cook. For instance, greens. Traditionally in our families, greens are cooked with fat back, ham hocks, turkey necks, and everything else. The greens cook for 4, 5, 6 hours on the stove, and usually by then, all the nutrients, enzymes that the greens originally had are boiled out of the greens.
They call that pot liquor.
And you might as well drink the pot liquor. You might as well drink the pot liquor and throw the greens away. But the green recipe is 2 green recipes in the book where we just use some spices, some onions, and some garlic, and just cook the greens for 30, 40 minutes, and it's perfect.
And they'll taste like...
They will taste
that
like...
thing was in it.
They'll taste better than that.
Okay. Because we got to have that thing in it,
Oh, see, that's why we're called soul vegetarian.
Explain that to me, because I want to know what is the difference between because being honest, vegetarian does not sound adventurous. It does not make a person salivate. What is the soul vegetarian concept?
The soul vegetarian concept, first of all, you have to understand what you're feeding. First, we have to be fed spiritually. And the soul food that we were fed spiritually was a type of healing balm that comforted our spirit, our mind, and our bodies. When that transferred into a physical food to nourish us, we were given the instructions from the scriptures, Genesis 1:29, where God created us so he knew what it would take to sustain us. And that's all the fruits and vegetables, the herbs, the legumes, the bees, the seeds, the nuts on the planet, so that we would be nourished to live forever. These bodies would never break down and degenerate. But we have gotten out of cycle, and somebody defined for us what soul food is. We never ate. We were commanded not even to touch the pig. We weren't even supposed to touch blood.
Let alone cook with it, eat it.
And so now we're so out of cycle, so out of sync with nature. We'll eat watermelon in the wintertime. We'll eat foods out of season. We're so out of cycle, and we're so miseducated and uneducated that you see the degenerative results all over the world, not just in America, but all over the world. Our people are suffering because they have lost their spiritual connection with what the real soul is supposed to be. And that's where Soul Vegetarian comes in, to teach people that you don't have to just eat lettuce and carrots and just some cucumbers. I mean, we fix everything from pizzas, lasagnas, burgers, things that have the texture and the feel of what they're used to eating, but we've done it to help them make a transition so that it's healthier for them.
Well, we appreciate you and for going out of your way to create that diet, to sustain it, and also be the test subject of the diet.
I like to say it's a live it, not a diet. We don't want to have anything to do with dying. We want to have a live it. And I tell you, I have a picture, we were looking at it the other day, and it's a picture that I took when I was 17. And I took a picture last year, and we held the two pictures up together, and I promise you, it looked like the pictures were taken, you know, 1 year after another.
See, that's what time it is.
And that's what the diet has done for me personally. And people who have come in the restaurant for the last 20 years have seen me and just say you just never age. But we have truly found the fountain of youth.
All right. Thank you very much, Sister Yafai.
Thank you.
Please tell us again the name of your cookbook.
The name of the cookbook is the Soul Vegetarian Cookbook, and you can get it at the Soul Vegetarian restaurants.
Nationwide.
Thank you.